Carlos Nelson with What's Up Kansas City. And today we've got a bright young lady on, Miss Lauren Mae Washington. And she just received an offer to join a major company. And I'm gonna let her talk to you about that. Good afternoon, Miss Washington. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm so happy to be here and, excited to have this opportunity. So thank you.
Turn your volume up a little bit.
A little bit, okay. It's all the way up now. Yeah.
All right. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself and about the offer that you've gotten with the entertainment company.
Yeah, so, I'm a junior at Northwestern University, and I went to Pembroke Hill growing up all my life from Kansas City. And so, yeah, I'm studying film at Northwestern. I'm minoring in entrepreneurship. And it took me a while to understand what I wanted to do. I only learned a senior year of high school that I really was, intrigued by storytelling. And so now I'm just on that journey to finding my way into the entertainment industry. And recently I received an opportunity to become a creative development intern at Silk Mass. It's a newly founded production company by John Silk. He's trying to find, underrepresented stories that not only, he can help produce, but also, also give opportunities to, people of color and Black creators to actually make it themselves. He pointed out that, Marvel Studios is great, but also it's, white owned. He wants to not only, give the opportunities, but also make way in all levels. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to intern and
He's following in a lot of our Black media professionals, and from my perspective, Tyler Perry's leading the way and putting his money where his mouth is, and understanding the importance. People like Roland Martin, that was with TV One. Now he has Roland Martin Unfiltered, and I think he does the best covering African Americans or the diaspora's issues. And we need more personal stories, like the company that you're about to become engaged with, telling our story with our narrative, without it being edited by majority community. All right. When you said high school is when you, is that the earliest that you felt that you wanted to get into the media industry? When is the, you went to Pembroke Hill, but
yes.
talk a little bit about coming up from middle school as being in the majority environment and being able to assimilate versus still have your opinions and see things from a Black perspective. Talk a little bit about that.
This program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it was, something all I knew growing up. I started at Pembroke, when I was like 2 years old in early childhood. And it was definitely difficult. It was good because, I had my mom and my dad there and my brother. But, it took me a while to realize that, a lot of the, things were just, I felt like I was in a bubble. But it was a great opportunity. But, it took me a while to realize that, okay, certain things around my own identity and that, I don't have to, just fit in all the time. But it was
I like how your hair is.
Thank you.
As you're talking about that, I see that you're self-confident already.
And it took me a while. Like I went through high school, middle school, definitely. It was kind of just, trying to find more my way out of, Pembroke as a whole. And, it was just a great opportunity for me being there, but also kind of just branching out and having all these questions, because it is hard, being one of the only one. I had 2 other Black girls in my grade all the way throughout. So it was definitely a great learning experience.
On a 1 to 10, how much pressure did you see or feel, I should say, and to fit into that equation that you were locked into?
I think it varied. I didn't really notice it much growing up when I was little, but when I got more into middle school and high school, middle school, I think it was probably like, up there, like not a pressure to succeed, but more of so,
Right.
being
Just to
in,
fit in.
yeah, like probably, 8, 7, it was a lot because, I didn't live near where a lot of my classmates live. So it was just kind of, you were there and then you go back home, you pass through, the truce line. It's just this dividing line. So it was very interesting seeing that every day and going back home. And
Do you think, excuse me for cutting you off, but on that level, do you think your classmates ever even took any of that into consideration, that with you and your other two students of color?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think of course we were little. I don't think that people realized because we were just kids, but definitely as we had more conversations in high school and middle school, I think those issues kind of arose and people might have said things that they didn't realize. It wasn't
Hurt you?
Yeah. It's like, but it wasn't. I think it's just sometimes when people, that's all they know, like that's their bubble. It's just they don't. So it was interesting, and one of my interesting moments, I had a great history teacher, my favorite. She was Black, Mrs. Jones, Jeanette Jones, and we had a
shout out to Miss Jones.
She was great, and I think it was junior year or senior year. We went on like a segregated bus tour, just kind of exploring outside of Pembroke a bit, and we went on that. And a lot of my classmates hadn't seen outside the Troost area and different, even though it's so close to where we are, but it's just hidden pockets of segregation still. So it was great, like teachers like her who made an effort to really like take us out of the bubble a bit. So I think in high school, definitely that was a time for me to kind of come out of my shell and just kind of explore more and realize that there's more outside of the school and utilize the opportunities that Pembroke gave me too. And so, yeah, I think it's very
curricular activities. Did you do any curricular activities?
I did.
Talk about that.
Yes. So first, getting back to, said if I knew I wanted to do film, I had no idea. I did gymnastics for about 7 years, 7 or 6 years.
Was that something that you felt that you wanted to do, or is that something that you felt you needed to do to fit in that box or that clique or whatever? I don't know.
Not at all. It's crazy because one of my gym teachers, I was on the monkey bars all the time, and she was like, "You should do gymnastics." And I took up her advice, and I joined extreme gymnastics in Lee Summit. So I wasn't associated with Pembroke, and I did that all the way up until like middle school. And then I was like, maybe I don't want to do it anymore. I kind of wanted to explore more of the arts and also other sports because I felt kind of like, I was always away from my classmates. I kind of wanted to explore more different sports. So I tried volleyball, I tried basketball, and nothing stuck until soccer. So I started playing soccer in middle school all the way up through high school. Thought I wanted to play college soccer. Only switched my mind up until the end of the summer of my junior year, leading into senior year. Had that realization. So yeah, it was definitely a wild ride with all of sports. And
so you're in Maryville?
Maryville for school?
No, I'm talking about Northwestern. That is what?
Oh yeah, it's in Evanston, Illinois. It's like
all right. I'm saying they have the one here in Maryville.
Oh
Northwestern,
yes.
and I.
Yeah, it gets confused.
Right. All right. So what made you want to go there, and are you there on scholarship or anything? Run that down.
Yes. What made me want to go there, after I kind of had this realization, I switched, I thought I wanted to play soccer, so I kind of made a different list. I was just looking up different film schools, and, I kind of had this whole realization after attending the NAACP convention with my cousin. Just that kind of was like, whoa.
Where was that held at?
That was in Baltimore, the 108th. And so she gave me a press pass and let me like take photos. And so I was like, I want to do this. And so then I made a list coming home of all new colleges. Northwestern came up for their film program. And I have family in Chicago. So I was very interested, and took a college tour there with my mom, and I loved it. And I applied, and I am on scholarship there as well, and it's been great. It's been really great.
What's the what kind of advice would you give a young high schooler about finding their way to who they are and what their purpose is?
Yeah, I think high school is definitely difficult because you're trying to find who you are. You're trying to maybe fit in there, and I think it's important to stay true to yourself, and realize that high school is not the end of the world. Like, it's just your beginning into the world. So I think it's important to not get caught up in a bubble and make sure that you're enjoying yourself, trying new things, and just stay grounded in that, because you have college will be a whole new world, and after college, and it's easy to get caught up in just that moment. So I think it's very important to stay true to yourself. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. And yeah, it's at the end scheme of things too, it's not, I think it's just we've put way too much importance on some things in high school. So again, I just think it's important to really stay true to who you are.
What you said, I've been giving this advice out for 40 years to young people, but a lot of them can't absorb it. I'm like, what's important to you when you was 10 is no longer important to you when you're 15 most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you 10 and you got a 15-year-old mindset, you ahead of the game. And I tell the ones, what was important to you when you was 15 to 18, them little boys or little girls, all of that. By the time you be 23, you won't even know their damn name. And what's important to you when you 23 is not going to be important to you when you 30. And so
Exactly.
you have to be looking forward and not getting caught up in the moment.
Exactly. And I think that was something that in end of high school, my journey through high school, I think I really realized that after getting out of middle school, and I was like, it's important that this isn't going to last forever. Make the most out of it, enjoy yourself, and don't get too caught up in the little things that don't matter.
All right. One thing I skipped over, I wanted to know who was teachers or people in your life, mentors to you coming up.
Yeah.
Give them their propers that see, only you know who really influenced you.
Yes, for sure. Well, definitely my parents, my mom and my dad, having the opportunity to go to a school at Pembroke. I will never forget that. It gave me so many opportunities. And so I'm just so grateful for that opportunity, and looking up to them, and all the help that they gave me. My brother, for sure, he's 2 years older.
What's his name?
Brandon.
People don't know him.
Right. Brandon Washington. He's 2 years older than me. So I was always like looking up to him, one grade. So it was always nice to have, have my back. And
it's nothing like having a big brother for many reasons.
Right. There's really nothing like it. So I'm grateful for him. And, he really kept me grounded throughout, my experience in school. And
you talk to him
all the time.
You had real good relationship. Bam, like, all right.
Yeah, real good relationship.
He's in a pod.
Definitely. So that was, family, really important for me. And, I had some great teachers as well growing up. Got to shout them out.
Shout them out.
Fourth grade teacher, Billy Barnes. She was great. She was also one of my first, teachers who I had as a Black woman. And also pre-kindergarten, another Black teacher, Black woman I had, Tiffany Nixon. It was just great. As a young girl, it's great to have that experience. And, I had preschool teachers as well. Mrs. Shofflin and Beth Zobrist were great. And as I went into, middle school, it was great to have that foundation of all these great teachers before. And I really had a great experience getting more into English, which is ironic because my mom is, English teacher and English major. I became more inclined to, reading and writing. And I got into high school. I had great teachers who changed my life. Really great, like Mr. Romick and Mrs. Tosick and Dr. Banyan were great teachers of mine, who really, I just didn't realize how much I loved writing and reading, and that kind of set that foundation for me as my journey into a screenwriter. Oh, and how can I forget Mrs. Abernathy as well? I had a creative writing class with her in senior year, and that really changed my life. I was like, I want to do screenwriting. I love this. I love writing so much. And so English teachers were great, and my history teachers, as I mentioned, Jeanette Jones, one of my favorite teachers at Pembroke. And it just, it just changed my life. And I think it was just great.
On a 1 to 10, what was the Pembroke experience like as a Black woman?
Yeah, what is the scale like? What is that scale like for as?
I'm just saying your overall experience.
Yeah.
It was pleasant. As a Black person, we talked off camera, and you were saying how appreciative you were. You got a chance to meet people that's your age that are in a different social or economic class. How was that on a 1 to 10?
I think the scale definitely fluctuated. Like there were moments where it was really hard for me, and it might have been on the lower end, but I think at the end of it, I can't deny how much opportunities I had, the people I was able to meet, and not a lot of people who look like me get a chance to even go to a school like
right.
That. We definitely.
My son couldn't do it. Yeah. He's 38 now, and I had him over there in the summertime. He was on scholarship, but he just couldn't assimilate.
It's really hard because it's you feel like like an outside bubble, and especially someone who's not into
and see, we're Afrocentric. So we were Afrocentric per se in our house, and so he had a strong sense of, and he was going to Du Bois Learning Center and the philosophy and what have you, and I had to just leave him alone.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, and it's not easy, and it's one of the things that as I graduated Pembroke, I'm so appreciative and grateful for the opportunity that I was given, but I can't deny my growing up with teachers. My dad works with little kids, and it's just great to all people who look like me and people of color like
to me. It's a Jackie Robinson effect.
Yeah, we need it shouldn't be such a difference in schooling, and everyone needs an opportunity.
You got to be always trying to represent Black people wherever you're at, whatever the situation is. A lot of times you can't really express what you want to express.
Yeah, and I think for me, after going through Pembroke and kind of getting into Northwestern too, I found that it kind of opened up a whole new world. And it's like I can express, I want to make way and for Black people, and just it really, I think after leaving kind of this bubble, it was just like a whole new world. And so I just, after looking back, of course I'm so grateful for that experience and all the opportunities, and I'm hopeful that especially in this moment, I hope that it's just, I wish that with education that there doesn't have to be such a drastic.
But I think you can hold it. Let me say this. I'm solution orientated.
Right.
I think that you are a great ambassador for our young people of color to start these conversations with the majority community, because you're not alien to their way of life.
Oh, for sure.
And, I know your mom is super proud of you. I've met you now, and I'm really proud of you. In closing, what would you want to say to our public?
Yeah, there's so much. What I would want to say, first of all, I always have love for my city in Kansas City, in the film industry. I talked to a couple of former, Kansas City filmmakers, learning, Aaron Rasan Thomas, I have to give a shout out. He went to Pembroke. He's a Black producer, filmmaker, screenwriter. I talked to him, and I listened to Kevin Wilmot speak from Kansas. And they just told me, how important it is to, not lose sight of where you come from. And so that's something that's really stuck with me is, this journey in filmmaking. And I will just always want to give back and not forget where I'm from in Kansas City. And I want to bring, film to Kansas City. And, another example, Morgan Cooper is a Kansas City filmmaker, and he just created a trailer for the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now he's working with Will Smith. And so it's just putting Kansas City on the map, making more space for that. And so I'm just grateful to not lose sight of how, as, moving into the film industry in LA, not losing sight of, well, Kansas City is great as well, for film. And that's something I really want to, throughout my experience and going into Pembroke and on this journey, I want to, give back to my city and create a little TV series in the works about that. And also, last thing I want to say is, in this moment, I've seen so much going on, and I went down to the protests. I've been talking to young people who are so interested in making change. I just hope that this, this energy continues, and that we can continue to, not let our voices not be heard. And I just want to not shy away from it as well. And hopefully that, the divides that are still in our city can continue to be eradicated. And I just really hope that, young people continue and not shy away from that. And I want to also not shy away from that. So yeah, I just think that young people, need to not forget how important our voices are. And no matter what anyone says. And yeah, I hope that I can be there for any young people in Kansas City, and, of all the opportunities that I've been given, and give back and just share my experience, because there's no reason not to, and I think that's just something that people forget sometimes.
Hey, Lauren, give them your website so that they can look at your bio and what have you,
Yeah.
Because there might be some other artists out here that look at this, or some more film producers that look at this, that might want to be able to get in touch with you to present some opportunities. Run that down to them.
Yes, my website is at laurenmwash.com. It's LAUREN, mwash.com. You can see all the documentaries I've made, photography, who I am. And yeah, that's where you can stay tuned and contact me. And I would love to work, share opportunities, especially any KC artists out there, definitely.
Excellent. In closing, as we always say, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
Absolutely.
This program is brought to you by Black Star Group.